I'm going to take some heat for this one, but whatever. Um, Ever since the former president of the United States said what he said about black men and their refusal to, what he believed to be refusal to, um, my comb, refusal to endorse and or vote for Kamala, he has been on the crosshairs, figuratively. I don't need the Secret Service at my door here. In the light, in the line of fire, for all manosphere talking points and to those who are making content. His recent interview, guest appearance on Michelle Obama's podcast, only sparked up what was a dwindling fire and now is kicked off even more. First of all, he quelled the rumors about him and Michelle's impending divorce and not liking each other. I didn't watch the full interview, but what I've seen of it, the few clips I've seen, wasn't very convincing, but whatever. And this has been making rounds not only in the manosphere space, but also on Fox News and other platforms that are so analytical of his and Michelle's life. But I wanted to chime in here about what he said, in particular about the men and their need for mentors. And so we'll pause right here. We'll play it.
That I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
Mm-hmm. One dad.
One dad. No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't out of line, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right. So that I think is creating that community. I know it's corny, but that's what they need.
And we talk.
So we can see that, we can see that the context means everything. First of all, let's just start there. Context means everything. I've seen so many YouTubers going off on, he's saying that we need rainbow mentors. That's not what he was saying. What he was saying is that he wanted to see men step up, number one, be mentors. Even if you have a father, there's other people who you can need in your life, who can help to guide you in a right, correct path towards manhood and whatever that means for you, and to become the best version of yourself for you and then for society. So he's taking a lot of heat for this. And I just think that what he said was appropriate. I think that what he said is deliberately being taken out of context. He praised a man who the world would castigate, not the whole world, but a lot of people would castigate, cast aside because of who the man loved. And I just think that was unfair. He was saying that this man held him accountable. His professor held him accountable. This man was there for him and taught him what he needed to know. And if maybe you all forget this, but the man guided him and helped him to become the man who then eventually became the president of the United States. Maybe that's lost somewhere in this. And I always find it ironic that the people who are the most critical, oftentimes, of the biggest platforms, the biggest mouths, and have the biggest, and really had just the biggest problems. So, I grew up in a church, and I can remember going to church services. Right, we was one of those rockin' Pentecostal churches, and then we would go to different churches to fellowship, and even when people would come to ours to fellowship, like, right, we would have, the preacher sometimes, would be so dogmatic, so brutal towards those of the rainbow community. Of course, they didn't call it that back then. They were just brutal in the things that they would say. And of course, we all know that if you grew up in a black church like I did, in a black Pentecostal church like I did, right, those people guide the service. I mean, they are almost literally controlling the service between the organist, the choir director. These people, man, you know, and then they would be dancing around in church, right? And of course, the hyper masculine, and I'm using that term on purpose and pejoratively. Um, they would, after things would calm down, people would stop shouting, dancing around. They would get on them in front of everyone. You guys up here, you dancing up here. You need to go sit down somewhere. Calling them sissies and all kind of stuff. It was crazy. Looking back at that now, it was crazy. I can remember my friends when we were young guys at the time, teenagers, 20s, laughing about it after church when we go out to eat and stuff. And when I look back on that time, I really feel bad about the ignorance that we had, and I just think that is just the wrong way to be. I just think that it's the wrong way to be. Growing up, man, I was one of those who were, I'm not going to get into the whole story, but I had some issues. And it took strong people to stand up for me. It took strong men to stand up for me. I don't care if they were rainbow, I don't know who they were. I went to the boys club. I went to a YMCA day camp. I had strong men who stood up for me. Let me pause right here for station identification, right? I've never had a rainbow experience. I'm not interested in having a rainbow experience. This is not me coming out the closet. I am very much in the living room of a heterosexual man, through and through, from the cradle to the grave, from the birth to the earth. I am a heterosexual man. Never had experience and don't want to have a heterosexual. Never had a homosexual experience and don't want to have a rainbow experience. I'm not looking for it. I'm not curious. I've had men slide in my DMs. Don't take this as an opportunity to do that because I'm standing up for this. I'm not. This is not what that is at all. But I am standing up for what I think is right and to be a kind-hearted person. And when I think back about the times in church, right? I saw a lot as a police officer. I saw a lot. And every police officer will, right? This is why they often, I know police officers who quit early, who couldn't take it anymore. Unfortunately, a lot of them self-delete. You see a lot. And I went to people's homes on domestic calls. You've seen these on videos and stuff. I was there. And, the parents are kicking the children out because they're rainbow. Not going to get into all that. It's a horrible, terrible experience. It's a horrible, terrible experience. And when I look back and see these people, when I saw people who I was new in church, in that church world where they preached against this rainbow lifestyle, and then when I would go to their homes or see them out or see them in different locations, hugged up with other dudes, leaving rainbow bars and stuff. These people just want to love like everybody else. Why are we still dealing with that? And these again, I'm using this term pejoratively, hyper masculine manosphere men, understand that Obama was calling you out to be mentors. I know many of you all don't want to reach back because, well, we were overlooked, and because let women do what they want to do. They want to be strong. They want to be independent. They want to be single mom. They don't need us. Why should we reach back? Michelle and Barack were calling for men to reach back. That was a call. If you don't want to do it, then who's going to do it? As black men, we should. I'm not telling you to agree with the lifestyle. I'm not saying that I fully agree with the lifestyle, but I am indifferent to how they live. I'm not going to go around picking on them. I'm not going to go around throwing stones or rocks. I'm not going to bash them. And certainly they have every right to live. And if they want to raise children because you don't want to do it, because heterosexual people brought them into the world and somehow, some way were unworthy, whether they got the kids taken from them, they don't want them or whatever, these people took them. I mean, what the heck? What are we talking about here? So if you don't want to step up, somebody has to step up to mentor them, to adopt them. Somebody has to do it. So you strong manosphere men who are to clown this man again, bash. You think he's bashing, man. He thinks he's not an alpha. He's not in control. Okay, don't forget this man was responsible for killing Osama bin Laden. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that he was commander in chief for the U.S. military for a long time, right? So, whatever. And another reason I want to make this is because I was I don't think the masculinity really has to talk about itself a lot. You just are, you just be, you just do, right? I was one of those kids that played basketball all the time when I turned 13, right? Started getting into basketball, right? Start playing and stuff. We go out there, wrestle in the backyard or whatever, climb trees, ride bikes. I did all that masculine type of stuff. But I also knew growing up boys who didn't do it, who enjoyed drawing, arts, music, right? Those guys grow up to be Chadwick Boseman, you realize. They grow up to be the actors that we love to look at on the Marvel movies, who become acting in projection of strength and all that, right? Right? Let's not forget that in the manosphere, particularly black manosphere, beloved hero, Kevin Samuels, wasn't the most masculine presenting at all times. Let's not forget, you watch his interview, you see that. The man still taking accusations about being a part of the rainbow, even as he's deceased now. So listen, we taken this man's words out of context, and believe me, I was not happy about what the man said to about us, to us as black men, and about us, and that we didn't want to vote for Kamala because she's a woman. I didn't vote for her because I didn't think she was competent, quite honestly. Coincidentally, I didn't vote for this guy either because I don't think he's competent either. But I wasn't happy about that. And I wasn't happy about that. But the man was asking for men to be mentors and to be uncles and to step in and step up. That's what he's asking for. And if you can find yourself in a circle, if you can find yourself with a wide range of friends, maybe you can expand your thinking beyond whatever. Whether you agree with it or not, at least you'd be able to form an opinion. Whether you hang out with them constantly or not, you can have an opinion. You can have that. And if you still want to be isolated in your silo, then that's on you. That's on you. But black men, black people, we have needed allies. And this is why I always think back to my time in church and what we were told and taught and all this kind of stuff. And you become that. The worst thing is to become that which you fight against. We have fought against racism. We shouldn't be racist. We fight against prejudice. We shouldn't be that way, right? We fight against this stuff, right? The manosphere really should be about fighting for men's rights. Men to be men. Whether you're more effeminate man, whether you're a masculine man, and I am fighting for men and masculinity to be strong and to be whole, full stop. But that doesn't mean I'm going to hate on and exclude and berate and whatever else to others who don't think like me. I enjoy my hobbies. That doesn't mean that I have to do anything else or I have to berate those or become intolerant towards anyone who does anything else. And this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm hearing. What is going on here. This is the problem a lot of people have with the whole Gaza situation, right? There was a group of people over there who should understand what it's like to be isolated, separated, and put in concentration camps. They should understand that. Well, maybe I'm going too far with this. Maybe I'm going too far with this. I don't want this to. I do want this to get around. But to become that which you fought against, a lot of people say that about the United States. We're becoming now what we blamed other countries of being. So think about what his actual message was, and ask yourself: Are you willing to step up and help out and step in and be a strong masculine presence for these boys who are trying to figure out these boys are trying to figure out the world. They're growing up without a sense of purpose. AI is going to take their job. Their jobs are being shipped overseas. They're failing in schools because it's become so effeminized. The Obamas talked about that as well, right? Colleges are becoming effeminized. All this stuff is going on, and he's asking for men to step in and help to guide these boys to keep doing it straight and narrow, so they don't self-delete, so they don't become drug addicted, so they don't become negative influences on society, women haters, violent criminals. Are you willing to help with that? I hope I don't have to turn the comments off for this one. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Hit me in the comment section. Much love and peace.